to my hobby room. I'm glad you could join me today. Today we'll be playing with some tickets, and this is from the same die that produced the larger size film strip that I had in the last video. The first thing I'm going to do after I run it through, so they are a longer die that you could actually run through the sidekick. And I've had them for several years, but when I got them secondhand, so I'm not sure exactly when they were new. But Tim talked about that particular die set on his video last Saturday and said that, it was old and he didn't even have it anymore. So I'm kind of excited that I have it. And I've used it many times over the years I've had it. Many, many. My one grandson, I only have one grandson, but my one grandchild, a grandson, really loved the tickets. And at one time I was making a lot of them for him, even sending them in the mail and such like that because he really enjoyed them. But otherwise, they make great kind of ephemera, especially if you do anything with any kind of books or, use up some of your stash to make any kind of journals, things like that. You can use them for that as well. And I'm working my way to a file folder that I'm going to be using some of these things in eventually that I've redone. And I'm really excited to get to do that because I haven't done a whole lot of that. I also have a travel folio I'm looking forward to getting to eventually. I'm sure it's on my list of things to do. I'm sure you have one just like it, right? So here I am going around the outside with, I don't think that's Vintage Photo. I believe it's the new one. And for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, although it's sitting right there. So it's the new brown, which I like. It's a little darker than Vintage Photo. And I think it looks really nice and outlines that darker brown color. Now, I sped this up here because going around the outsides of all of these little bitty square or rectangles, I'm sorry, and I'm going to put these on each one of them. Now, their backgrounds, they're actually Tim Holtz paper. And I've had these for a while where I cut them out and didn't know what to do with them. And so I saw this opportunity, and this is why you do things like that, because eventually you might need them. So what I'm doing is going around the outside with a darker color than what the inside is to kind of bring attention to the inside. If you look at the background, you'll notice that there is text, there is other things in the background of each of these are from a different color. So there's gray, blue, and pink. And I'm going to put these on there and then put something on them and decorate them even some more after that. So we'll see how they look. So I like having them kind of match. Even though you could use these tickets separate, I usually like using 3 or 4 of them at a time. So this would make either, a couple of strands of 4 or maybe a 3 and a 2. It could be all kinds of different things you could use these. But the fun is in decorating. The fun part is now. So you find the things in your stash that you think would go with them. And I'm looking around now in a little container I have off to the side that has a bunch of die cuts that I've already die cut. And I'm looking through them going, hey, what have I got here? So these yellow flowers, I have 3 of them, and they have a kind of a cool pattern on them. And then if you notice to the bottom left there, you'll see I have these punches. Actually, those flowers are punches, I believe, as well. Maybe not. They might be die cuts. I'm not sure. I don't remember right now. But I know the ones to the bottom left, all of those are die cut. Or I'm sorry, punches. And I punched them out with various colors. So some have a little bit of blue. I used some paper that I had smushed inked on that I didn't like the way it turned out as well. And it had maybe too many colors or it didn't look as nice as I would like it. So I used that to punch out all of these little, I don't even know what to call these. I wish I knew what to call them. Bursts. I don't know. Maybe they're kind of a floral type thing, but not really. But they have a cool look to them. I like the way they look, and they look fun. And so what I thought too was, if you look over there, there's some little green dots, and those green dots have a glitter paper. They're made out of glitter paper. I had a little left from something, and I punched out these dots, and I will use them in the centers of all of them. So it kind of ties them all together, which I really like a lot. The idea that you're tying them together and making them kind of uniform. So now I'm going through the process here of picking them up and gluing on them. And even sped up, this is a longer process, but I don't think I sped this one up too much. I think I left it slower than I probably should have. You know, it just takes a while to do this. And that's the fun of crafting, right? So you take your time and enjoy the time that you have. And before you know it, you've got something made. So as I mentioned earlier, I am looking forward to using all of these items in some sort of, and maybe a junk journal. But first I am going to have I've been watching Seven Plaza. I'm sure a lot of you watch her as well. And I'm been watching her videos, and she's inspired me to try to make some sort of a file folder type thing. She did file folder February, and here it is April, and I'm still thinking about it. But I do have her measurements and things to make a file folder that has pockets, and you decorate it. And I think I'm going to start with that, because to me that seems like a fun way to decorate all the stuff, and then I've got a bunch of other things to decorate. So as time goes on, we'll get to those. Maybe I'll just do one of those one a week for a while, and until we get to, because I currently have a lot of cards completed, and I'm going to have to start on graduation cards. Graduation season is coming, and I have a lot of graduates who need cards. So I'll be making a lot of graduation cards coming up here in a little bit. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to maybe hit the subscribe button, maybe hit the bell if you want to know when I upload a video. I'm trying to work on 3 a week. That seems like a good number of videos. And if you're enjoying what you're watching, please like the video, and that helps suggest it to other people on YouTube. That's how I learned about a lot of different people, and definitely how I learned about a lot of different things. I didn't know making tickets was a thing, and I thought, well, that's just silly. What am I going to do with those tickets when I'm done with them? Then I started making them. And just like stamps, until you make them, you don't realize how fun they are. They're just a fun little thing to make. And then, you know, it's almost like, well, now what am I going to do with them now that I have them made? It's kind of nice when you can make something and give it away. But it's also nice if you can make something and have it, you know, for in your craft room, and maybe store things in it or things like that. I do enjoy making those kind of projects as well. So now I'm putting these centers in, and the centers are, like I said, they're glitter paper. So it won't come off or anything, but it definitely offers a lot of dimension and a lot of there's a lot going on these yellow ones especially. Well, all of them really. So the background has stuff in them, the actual flower, or what did we call those things? Burst? I don't even know what to call them. But they all have either a pattern or some sort of texture in them. And then adding this glitter paper as the middle of the flower, or the burst, because it's going for both of them. Really, there's a lot going on, but I think it all looks good. I think it looks really nice together. But I do have one more element at the end here when I get done putting this one and the one I forgot there. You notice I forgot one. And I just skipped right over it. Don't know why. So I want to put that last one on there and think I'm done. And then I go back and see, look at, I put the cap on the glue and everything. And missed that one there. That's kind of fun thing that you do when you're just working along. Singing a song. No singing for me. I'm very quiet when I work by myself, apparently. I do usually have the television on. I like to have something on in the background. Oh, wow, still haven't caught it, have I? I remember when I caught it because I remember thinking to myself, wow, how did you look over that? And now watching me look over it, it's kind of like, wow, that's how you did it. I think when I get there is when I decide I need to put one on there. Luckily, I did have enough. I counted them ahead of time, so I knew I had enough. Okay, so when you're making a ticket, one of the things to remember is if you're not stamping on them, which is probably the best thing to do, but that's a very dark, um, paper to be stamping on and actually see it anyway. So I think putting this on makes it look kind of fun rather than like a serious ticket, because you can make them look serious. There's all kinds of different stamp sets that you can use to, stamp on them. And if you don't have anything like that, if you don't have any little bitty flowers or punches of any kind, even a circle punch looks nice. And you could even make a circle into a flower. Or you can go ahead and get some pattern paper and just cut out some of the different things. Fussy cutting on patterns off the pattern paper is some of the best way to get any kind of ephemera that you need, or added pieces that you need to add to ephemera, I should say. But you do not need this die to make this ticket background. It's nothing but more than this I believe is 3/4 of an inch wide, something like that. And then you take a hole punch, like a regular hole punch that you have from the store, and every inch you just punch it right there. That little notch is just half of a hole punch. And then if you don't have any way to make the little serrated edges, which you can buy the little machine, I should call it a tool, sorry. The little tool, you can buy that tool for, I think it's $5 or less on Amazon. But if you don't want to do that, you can just take a little pen, one that doesn't work, and a ruler, and just push in along a line of the ruler at that edge, and it'll make a serrated edge. It'll look just like it. You can do all that. What happens is we start off doing all of that, and then we go, oh, but for $5 I can get this machine to do it. And then, oh, for $10 I can buy this die. Why wouldn't I buy this die that makes it, in 3 seconds, and then I can just have the fun of decorating it? So usually when people start off, they do a lot of that stuff by hand. And then as time goes on, they go, oh, this will be great. I really like this. And invest your money in the things that you like rather than, buying a bunch of stuff and finding out you don't like it. When I found out I liked tickets and liked making the slides, the movie slides, that's why I bought the dies for it. And I did buy them secondhand, and I got a pretty good deal on them. And I have enjoyed them a lot. I've made both of them a lot. I think I really got my money's worth out of those. So you see me looking at them now, and I'm thinking, what, it needs something. And I thought, what would be fun is numbers. So I went through and got out my tin of small numbers and letters. They're Tim Holtz numbers and letters. They're the tiniest ones I have. They are super tiny, and they are nice for when you really need something tiny. Now, could I have stamped on one of those? Sure, I could have. I probably don't stamp very often on something when I'm using die cuts. It seems like it's better just to put another die cut on there, and especially if you have them. Now for these, I do have sitting off to the side, which you can't see, a package from the Dollar Tree that has letters. They are 3 different colors, and I think they were yellow, orange, and green. And I was contemplating using them, and if I didn't have these where I could use them as white or black, I decided to use white. I would have used those letters because they had no numbers in them. But I really kind of wanted to use numbers, and I have the numbers. But if you had a pack of those, you could use one of those letters and just put a letter on each one of these, and it could be where I put the number. And you could have used a letter. I mean, you could have spelled out something. If you looked at it, I even considered this. If I had moved over and thought of this sooner and moved over my flower or burst that I have there a little bit, and then next to it, I could have put a letter and spelled out, I love you, right out of, the ILOVE. The other thing you can do is if you had someone's name, you can definitely spell out their name. Or you could just put random letters on each one. This could be a T ticket. This could be an R ticket, like that. So, you could do that as well. But I decided to make the numbers. And then because I decided that my granddaughter's about the same age that my grandson was, that he really liked the tickets. So she's 2.5 and she loves flowers and she likes tickets. I found out when we made a ticket booth in Lego and she could sell tickets to the person to go on the ride that we made. She liked that. So I was thinking I would put the numbers on here because she's learning her numbers. And this way, if I counted them out, 1 through 8, each one would have a number and she could tell me what number it is. Which ticket number do you have? Oh, you have ticket 4, then that means you get to do whatever. We'll figure that out once we start playing the game. So that's why I did numbers, but you can do letters, you can do symbols, you can do whatever you want. You could not do them at all. I mean, it looks really nice just by itself. Again, that's the part about crafting that I like. You do what you want and you make it in a way that fits whatever you want. So I'm putting them on different sides. Some are on the right and some are on the left. Like I said, if I would have thought it through a little bit sooner, I really didn't think about the numbers until afterwards. And I did put the elements kind of in the middle. I wish I would have put them a little bit to one side or the other, just a little bit, so I would have a little more room. But these numbers are so small, I think it looks pretty good. Because I would like to have some travel ones for my traveler's notebook that I have that I want to decorate. And I definitely want tickets in there. So maybe I'll make like a whole row of airplane tickets and a whole row of train tickets and a whole row of bus tickets or something like that, and then put them in there and use them as, the side. You can use them for decorations. You can use them for all kinds of different things. All right, so there's my numbers on there, and I hope that you've been inspired a little bit. I'm going to pick this up and show it to you close up so you can see what it looks like. I think it came out really well. I like it. I like the texture on it. It looks really good. It is very fun. And I hope that you'll give it a try when you get a chance. And try making your own tickets. If you even look up, a lot of people will have, a video that'll show you step by step how to make the tickets yourself if you don't have a die that does so. But I hope that you give it a try and enjoy it. Keep crafting.
And dance by the light of the moon.